Use your God power. Get everything you ever wanted and live the life of your dreams. The Master's Course. Copyright 2010 by Richard Lee McKim Jr. All rights reserved. Let the quest for knowing begin. The reality of coincidence, accidents, and chance. What is the chance of having a coincidence or an accident? The chances are very good on both. They are both natural and automatic functions of resonance. What is the chance that you will just happen to find something that you're looking for? Think about it. Resonance is the function of both alerting you to the presence of the similar item and alerting the similar item of your presence. Just like the two tuning forks, after one sends out its frequency, not only does the other tuning fork become aware of you, the first tuning fork, but when it automatically responds as a result, the first tuning fork, you, become aware of its presence also. There are no such things as true accidents or coincidences or chance. There are only those things that we call accidents, coincidences, or chance. That only means that we just don't recognize what had happened in thought or deed that led to the event. But nothing can truly accidentally or coincidentally happen. This can be proved by the tuning fork demonstration as well. Set up a tuning fork of any frequency that you choose and wait for it to start vibrating. The moment it begins to vibrate, that's not an accident, not chance, nor is it a coincidence. This just means that a similar frequency is in the air. It is impossible for it to accidentally vibrate for no reason. It can only begin to vibrate if it is struck deliberately with a mallet or when it is responding to the vibrational request of another. The dog poop example. We mentioned a person who was quite upset about some dog poop in the catalog store earlier in Chapter 5, Resonance, the Secret Matchmaking Force of the Universe. If you recall, they were shopping when they came across some dog poop that was in the middle of the store aisle for some reason. Rather than ignoring it or just casually mentioning it to the store employees, they got quite upset about it and began to rant about how irresponsible it was to let this happen and wanting to find out exactly who the responsible party was. This wasn't going to go unnoticed or unpunished. As we expected, though, the universe who was assisting the purchaser ordered some dog poop to be delivered to the shopper. When the shopper complained that they didn't want the dog poop, the universe simply explained that when you pay that much attention to something, want it or not, you create a mental image or vibration that begins to elicit its kind into your experience. If you didn't want the dog poop in your experience, you shouldn't have paid so much attention to it in the first place. The rule of thumb is, pay attention to what you want and ignore what you don't. Notice, I didn't say hate it or fear it or ridicule it, because those thoughts create vibrations that will powerfully elicit and attract it into your experience anyway. Just ignore it. Give it no thought. Care less. Well, anyway, back to our shopper. They have some dog poop on order, and it should be arriving soon. Just as we expected, maybe sooner than it might have normally happened due to the high emotional level or volume that was thought and expressed, they get some. Just as they were crossing the lawn and heading for the front door, sure enough, they stepped right in a pile of dog poop. Was this an accident or a coincidence? I think not. Okay, let's look at the illustration. Here we got a big patch of green grass. Now we see the dog there, and we see the red path where the shopper was heading from their car to the front door of the house. That's the red line. And we see the blue line is the path that the dog took. Now, if you could see there, the dog poop is right at the intersection of the blue path and the red path. That's why the shopper stepped right in the dog poop, because the poop was right at the exact place where the dog's path crossed their path, and that's why they stepped in it. The dog followed the blue path when he was planning his business. The shopper walked through the red line from their car to their house when they stepped in it. What are the odds of them stepping in dog poop when it could have been anywhere in the yard? The way it works is this. They get out of their car and walk a certain path to their house. How do they decide to do that? Do you think that it is a random event? No, it is not. A psychic pathway is already laid out before them, and they are following the path that they elicited from their world. This is not a punishment. It is just a simple manifesting of results brought about by their attention to something. They could have noticed a gold watch in their yard or some other beneficial thing if that was what they were eliciting into their experience. What if this was their exact path that they always take through the yard? That would mean that their actions this time were not directly a result of their elicitations, right? Well, the answer is yes and no. First, maybe they would have stepped over it, but I will concede your point. However, what the dog did was still a direct response to their elicitation. Why did he pick that exact spot out of all the places he walked and could have gone? When he was checking out possible places to go, when he came to this spot, it just seemed to be the right spot. He has no idea what his actions are preparing for the shopper. This is none of his business, nor is it his concern. The dog is just acting in what he thinks is a purposeful way, picking out the perfect spot for his creation. That is the way the universe works. Every single element of a situation just seems to be going about its own business and doing whatever they normally do, but it all comes together in a certain way that has been elicited by all of the people, dogs, and whatever else is involved in the situation. Does this mean that you will always attract and elicit the exact thing that you were thinking about? No, not necessarily. The dog poop example was just a good way to show a direct and exact result, when in fact, most often it will manifest in a way that you don't recognize as coming from your own thoughts. Actually, the vibrational meaning of the dog poop incident was more like, there is a very unpleasant and unexpected situation that has occurred. That could attract a flat tire on the way home because it would be a very unpleasant situation and it was a nail in the road that was in the wrong place and it should not have been there. Or it could be a number of different things that could be elicited from this meaning. You could have an unwelcome call from the doctor or the teacher or your boss. Who knows how many different ways it could manifest. The important thing to get from this example is that you will elicit an experience or situation that is a combination of a lot of different elements that just happen to come together in a certain way so that you might call them an accident or a coincidence or a chance, but they are in fact just manifestations elicited by your thoughts. The purpose of this next example is to show you that nothing is ever chance.
To continue, go to How to Use Your God Power, chapter number 11, Segment number 18. Let your quest for knowing continue.